friends. Welcome to the Mythical Ireland Library. I'm back. And I know, I mean, from the library to the van to the printers back to the library again. Well, this is a very quick live stream to show off the calendar, basically, which has arrived in superb condition, I'm glad to report, from Anglo Printers here in Drogheda. A quick reminder that we at 8 p.m., which is less than 2 hours away now, we are having the 200th episode celebratory Mythical Ireland Live Irish Myths quiz. For that, we are having that on Zoom, and I'm constantly reminding people we haven't yet filled out the capacity. Not that it matters, but just in case you were expecting a live stream at 8 o'clock tonight, we will not be on Facebook or YouTube this evening. We will be on Zoom, and for that, you must register. So please do register at the link, which I will send momentarily. I will, I promise. I should have had that ready, shouldn't I? But anyway, I didn't, for which I apologize. I was so excited about collecting the calendars that, let me see. If you go to the Mythical Ireland website and the blog, there's a blog about it there. I'm just going to copy that link and paste it here. So hopefully you will see that coming up as a comment. Barbara Murphy's in the house. Looking forward to failing the test. You'll be grand. You'll be grand. There are some easy questions. There are some difficult ones, but not too many, I hope. Deborah Williams, hey there again. I know, you know what I mean? 3 times in one day or whatever. Anyway, can we have a... Sorry, I just shared the registration link for the Zoom for the quiz. But we have 100 questions. 10 rounds of 10 questions. We're going to be on for a couple of hours at least, I reckon. It'll be at least 2 hours. Very glad for the assistance of Sue Prenter, one of our regular Live Irish Myths viewers, who is going to adjudicate the questions. So you'll be sending them to her on private chat on Zoom. As each round finishes, just copy and paste your answers, send them to her, and she will take a note of who scored what in each round. When we get to round 3, just before I start the questions for round 3, the plan would be to give the answers to round 1. So it will take a bit of time. You've seen this. I'm sure you've been in a quiz before. It's just I'm not used to doing quizzes on Zoom. Most of you will have done quizzes in Ireland anyway. I'm sure most of you have done a pub quiz. SGD says 2022's calendar was beautiful. Thank you for that. And I hope that you find 2023 calendar to be at least as beautiful, if not even surpassing the beauty of 2022. Anyway, can we have a prolonged drum roll, please? Hang on a second. I'm actually not sure whether you can hear that. I know the mic tends to suppress background noise. Did anybody hear the drum roll? Let's try it. I love the drum roll. One more. It's a very long one. At some point, it's going to go for the big reveal. Ladies and gentlemen, Mythical Ireland, Anthony Murphy is very proud and delighted to present to you the 2023 Mythical Ireland calendar. Only seconds to go now. Ta-da! After the longest drum roll in history. This. Let me see. Let's do a little test. Tom King is not allowed to answer this one. And this is not a quiz question. This is just to see. Does anybody recognize the stone? Where is this? See if anybody knows. There's a little test for you now. Does anybody know where this photograph was taken? So that is the 2023 middle. That's the cover. That looks lovely. Thank you, SGD. Deborah says, I'm not going to embarrass myself during the quiz, but hoping to learn some things and being impressed with the answers you'll receive. All fun. Looking so forward to receiving the calendar. Yeah, well, the main thing is to have fun. You know, it's not about being a swat. I mean, there are prizes, but like, you know, I think that we'll have great fun. Magpick says, Hill of Tara. No, that is not right. It's good, but it's not right. That's the 2023 calendar. Can you excuse my fingerprints? I see fingerprints on it already. Can you guess where that photo was taken? Lovely sunset. Sotonar says, Gia Glitch Anthony, the calendar looks lovely. Thank you very much. August, Gia Ismuraguch, and thank you for joining us. Folge. January's photo is a snowy scene at Sheed and Brugge. You might know that as Newgrange. I'll show you the photos, I don't mind. But of course, you have to have your own copy. February's photo is Doubt in Darkness under the stars, just at the end of twilight. Really like that image, actually. My guess, Wicklow Mountains, says SGD. No, colder, in fact. What was I going to do there? Yes, I suppose I should share the link where you can obtain your calendar, just in case you haven't done so. Copy, paste. August egg paste oil. Peter Kieran's, congratulations, Anthony. Beautiful calendar as always. Thank you, Peter. Peter and his brother run the printing factory, Anglo Printers, where the calendar was printed, where you saw me a short time ago driving towards to collect it. Don't they do a fabulous job? And as I said on the live stream earlier, Anglo have printed I've had 3 calendars done so far, 2021, 22, 23. They printed Return to Segish, they printed The Cry of the Sebok, and they printed my 2 monographs. So thank you again, Peter, for a very professional job. Have to say, looks fantastic. There's March's image. Sheed and Brugge, again, Newgrange, peeping out through the mist on a spring morning. I'm sorry about the reflections. But anyway, that won't be an issue when you get your own copy. Yes, indeed. Mariana Dunn. Thank you, Mariana. Glad you enjoy it. April, a very unusual photograph and one that I was very, very happy to get. The curbstones of Knowth illuminated under the stars. It's a very difficult picture for most people to get because Knowth is not open at night. This was during the pre-pandemic. There was a couple of observing nights there, astronomy nights, and Claire Tuffy, who has retired as the manager of visitor services at Brunabonia, allowed myself and Ken Williams the freedom to go and take our photographs, and we got some very nice photographs. May's photo shows Cairn L at Lough Crew with the Hill of Mail in the background under a brooding sky, but Cairn L lit by the sun. A nice, I think, early summer photograph showing that the landscape is suddenly vibrant and verdant, coming alive after the spring rains and with the early summer sun. June's image. Oh, yeah. This is a rainbow over the River Boyne, just east of, at Oldbridge, which is just about a mile or so east of the bend of the Boyne. I was delighted that day. I was delighted that I had a lens. I had a wide angle lens with me that day because I wouldn't have been able to capture the whole rainbow. And as you can see, it's actually a double rainbow. So that is June. And then flip over for the second half of the year. Dun, dun, dun. Yes. The great drone henge, as it was revealed to me on the evening of the discovery, which was Tuesday, the 10th of July, 2018. So that's why it's in July. You know, I generally try to match the mood of the pictures to the month, or sometimes the month that the photograph was taken in. I tried to make the summer ones summery and the winter ones wintry, basically. That is Drone Henge. That photo and several others that I took that evening with my drone were actually seen by tens of millions of people, hundreds of millions of people around the world, because it was in all the media, of course, at the time. Deborah Williams says, gorgeous photos. Thank you very much, Deborah. I'm glad that you like them. This was a special request when I took this last year in August. Several people said that absolutely has to go into the calendar next year. And I'm glad to report that it has done. It was taken in August, so it only makes sense that it should be featured in August. And that was the remarkable coincidence of capturing the swallow side on as it flew in front of Sheed and Broga. You may notice, the eagle-eyed among you may notice, I know, and again, I'm sorry for the reflections, you may notice that there are sundogs either side of the sun. These are like partial rainbows that appear in ice crystals in the upper atmosphere. Or is it water refraction? I think it might be ice, but anyway, you'll see the sundogs either side of the sun. That was what I was trying to capture, and the swallow flew by as it just it happened to fly by as I pressed the shutter. I just think the serendipity of it, plus the fact that it is, I think, a beautiful image. The swallows recently left. They usually, we see the last of the swallows here first week of October, but I read a post on Facebook today saying that there are still several dozen swallows in a place in Wexford in the southeast, which is the warmest and sunniest part of Ireland. So they haven't all left Ireland just yet. Mariana Dunn says, love the sundogs. Thank you for that. Dahi O'Quinn says, beautiful work. Looking forward to getting one. Brilliant stuff, Dahi. And I hope that, well, I'm going to, what I'm going to do is, as I always do with these things, tomorrow I will try to get out all the Irish and Northern Irish orders. See, they don't need the postage labels. We just do handwritten labels for those, and they're the easiest to get out. The international ones have to all be done online, the individual postage labels. That takes a little bit longer, so they'll probably be Wednesday before they start going out. Sue Prenter, excuse me, says, evening all, great photos. Can't wait to hang the calendar on my wall. Brilliant stuff, Sue. And of course, Sue is our assistant for the quiz this evening. She will be the scorekeeper. Sue, thank you very much for your very generous offer of help in that regard. Looking forward to a fun evening, I have to say. I don't know whether this one was taken in September or not. But anyway, this was another very special photograph last year, to which was attached a story. And that is a very nice display of Aurora Borealis, or Northern Lights, over Newgrange, taken from the south side of the river, not from close to the monument. You may have seen the one I took on Saturday night that was taken up at the road in front of the monument. But the story behind this one was that I was heading out to Newgrange because there was word on Facebook and social media that there was a display happening. And I was going to go directly to Newgrange, again to the monument, the road in front of the monument. But at a roundabout, I just spontaneously took a decision to go a different way to this location across the river. And very shortly after I arrived, just as I'd gotten the camera and the tripod set up, this display slowly swept across, these color bands swept across the scene, taking about a minute or so to do so. And that was the best display of the night. It didn't get better than that. We just had the sort of low green bands after that. If I had gone to Newgrange, it would have taken me 5 or 6 minutes longer to get there, and I would have missed it. So that's the reason, I think. Serendipity was definitely in play that night, you know. So Aurora Borealis over Newgrange. This one was taken in October. And this is a photograph of, we didn't think it was going to happen that night. Claire Tuffy was with me that night, actually. And we didn't think the sunset was going to happen. This is the time of year around the 12th of October when the setting sun is directly in line with the western passage of Nowth. So behind me here in the photograph is the entrance. I'm looking out over the entrance curbstone of Nowth West. I don't know if you can see that, the top of the stone there. I'm behind the entrance curbstone in front of the gate that leads into the passage, that leads into the interior of the monument. I'm standing at the entrance of Nowth, looking out across the quartz and the granite cobbles, past the standing stone on this great, I don't know what you'd call that, great boulder, towards, and just at the last minute, I mean, you know, this huge dark sky came over, huge cloud threatening to spill rain. I don't think it really rained, funnily enough, but just at the last moment, the sun appeared and made for a very dramatic photograph. I think you'll agree. I hope you agree anyway. Hope you like that. November's photograph, and this was taken in the winter, shows this very dramatic promontory ring fort, which overlooks the River Boyne here at, well, this is Rossnaree and Nowth. So the Monument of Nouth, so you can imagine this is a drone photograph. The Monument of Nouth is off this corner of the photograph. Down here is Fiach's Pool, where the salmon of knowledge was caught, and not really visible to any great extent because it's kind of in shade there is Rosnaree House, which is the location of Cletchuk. Cletchuk, you may know, is the mound where Elkmar was deposed to after he absconded from Newgrange, after he was forced out of Sheedenbroga by Angus. So this is the western end of the bend of the Boyne. Just beneath the drone here and out of shot, the river turns dramatically westwards towards Slane. So this is the corner that sort of begins the great bend of the Boyne, and within this promontory then, extended out this direction, are contained all the great monuments, Nouth, Newgrange, Douth, etc., and all the great henges. So that's November's photograph. And December's is, I'm glad to report, a winter solstice photograph that was taken at the Baltray Standing Stones on the morning of the solstice, with the sun rising directly in line with the long edge of this stone. So we're seeing the short edge. It's like a hand. It's kind of wide on one axis and very thin on the other. So the long axis of the stone points towards Rockabill, the islands out at sea, where the sun rises at winter solstice, or at least it did in the Neolithic. It doesn't today because I was going to say nutation, not nutation, the obliquity of the ecliptic. Very slight wobble of the Earth's axis that causes the sun's solstice positions to move. Actually, the best way to explain it is that it's a variation in the tilt of the Earth's axis. I think currently the Earth's axis is tilted at 23.5 degrees, and it oscillates between 22 and 24 or something like that. It oscillates by a couple of degrees. The net effect is that the solstice positions oscillate on the horizon. So if you look where the sun rises on summer solstice versus where it rises on winter solstice, those move closer together and further apart as a result, very, very slightly, of course, as a result of this oscillation. But that slight oscillation of the solstice position means that the sun is now rising 2 sun widths to the left or to the north of Rockabill as viewed from Baltray, whereas in the Neolithic, which is when I think that stone was erected, or those stones were erected, it would have been rising out of the islands. Okay, what time are we on? We are on 6:36. Less than an hour and a half to go now until our Zoom quiz. So just yet another reminder, and there have been several today, that we're not live streaming at 8 on Facebook and YouTube. Rather, we will be having a quiz on Zoom, which is a celebratory quiz to mark the fact that we have reached the 200th episode of Live Irish Myths. Now, I did say earlier on that in an earlier live stream that we haven't, in fact, had a 200th episode. Last week we had episode 199. So this is to celebrate the 200th, but we will also have a 200th episode. I don't see any more comments. I'm wondering, is there a freeze, or is it just nobody's commenting? If that's the case, that's absolutely fine. Anyway, I did paste the link, I think, where you can obtain your calendar, and that is on the Mythical Ireland website. We do post worldwide. I can post all around the world. Postage rates vary according to your country. Unfortunately, Irish postal rates are a little bit on the high side, but anyway, what can you do? It is not available anywhere else, just to say that. I know my books are available in bookshops and on Amazon. A lot of them are available on Amazon. The calendar is only available through the Mythical Ireland website, SGD. We were admiring the beautiful pictures, and I'm glad that there isn't a fault in the stream. That's all I was worried about, that perhaps people hadn't, that it was frozen for people or something like that. Yep, so get over to the website, get your order in, and as I said, over the next 2 to 3 days, myself and my very good wife, my long-suffering other half, behind every successful man is a woman who does all the work, while the man appears on the camera. Myself and Anne will be endeavouring to get all pre-ordered calendars out in the next 48 hours. Certainly in the next 72, but we will do our damnedest. The plan would be to get all of the Irish and Northern Ireland ones out in tomorrow's post. So if you're living in Ireland, the Republic of Ireland, or Northern Ireland, and the reason we send the Northern Ireland ones out with Ireland is because the Post, An Post, which is our postal company in Ireland, treats Ireland as an island, as one nation, as it were. Even though it isn't, it treats it as one entity, as it were. So when you're ordering from Northern Ireland, I always say put Northern Ireland in your address rather than United Kingdom, because if we put United Kingdom on the label, sometimes what happens is the calendar or the book will go to the mainland Britain before coming back again. Whereas if you put Northern Ireland on the label, it'll be a lot quicker getting there. Also, the rate for postage to Northern Ireland is exactly the same as it is for the Republic of Ireland, which makes things a lot easier. As I said, all the international orders, there's a process that needs to be gone through there, which is each label has to be ordered individually. It's time consuming. I'd love to find a way to make it quicker and easier. If anybody out there, by the way, works for An Post and knows of a quicker way to get international postage labels done, other than sitting here for hours manually copying and pasting or entering names and addresses, from one screen, the order screen, into, where I've received the order on the website, from the invoice onto the order page of the An Post website, line by line. It's laborious. And then they ask you for is it a tariff code, which is a new thing only introduced in the past couple of years. You have to describe the item. You have to just define how much it's worth. So in addition to entering a name and address, there's several steps that you have to go through just to make one label, and then you allow them to build up, and then you pay for them at the end. Yeah, it's laborious. That is the reason that the international calendars won't be sent out tomorrow, but they will. As I said, we will do our very best between us to make sure that all the pre-orders are out in the post in the next 48 hours. Anyway, I'm going to get something to eat, because there's a small matter of a 200th anniversary Live Irish Myths quiz. 100 questions, 10 rounds of 10 questions. Some are easy, some are fun, some are difficult. The main thing is we will have a bit of crack later on. I hope you agree. And one very last time, the registration link I will paste right now as a comment on Facebook and on YouTube. And hopefully you'll get your registration in. Registration is free, doesn't cost anything. It is free to participate. The only thing is, for security reasons, we don't leave an open link, because then hackers and spammers can come in and ruin the show for us. So if you were intending to participate in our quiz, you must register, and you must do that between now. You must do that in the next hour and 19 minutes. Unfortunately, when the Zoom meeting starts, when the quiz begins, if you haven't registered up until that point, you won't be able to participate. We will be recording the quiz, so it will be uploaded to YouTube and the Facebook page afterwards, so that you can see all the amazing fun that we had. And just a reminder that there are prizes. First prize is this beautiful Curbstone 67 pendant made by Tom King at his forge of the Smooth Road, Schliashel, Bohermeen in the Boyne Valley. Tom, a very, very talented smith, as you know, on Goba, and we have featured his work, and his work is for sale on the Mythical Ireland website. And second prize is a €50 voucher for the Mythical Ireland website, which can be redeemed against calendars, books, photographic prints, tours, and I thought there was something else. What else is available? Oh yes, and Tom's artworks, of course. So there you go. We'll hopefully see you all, or most of you, at 8 o'clock for our quiz. That's 3 p.m. New York. That's 12 noon Seattle or Los Angeles. Deborah says, oh, I love that. Tom is such an artist. Yeah, at the moment, this is a one-off, but Tom will be, of course, making more of them. It's based on one of the three very heavily decorated stones at Newgrange, Curbstone number 67, with this interlocked spirals, double spiral, and the lozenges. I think you'll agree it's a fabulous piece. I think Coda is calling you for dinner, says Deborah. Yes, I think he is. Either that or he's calling for his own dinner, probably. Right, we'll see you all in a little bit. As I say, if you want to participate, please do register. Oh, by the way, don't forget to use that code that's scrolling along the bottom of the screen if you're ordering your calendar or anything else on Mythical Ireland. Until the end of October, the code MythIronNew, MythIrenew, which is basically short for Mythical Ireland new website, MythIronNew, will get you a 10% discount at checkout. I expect there will be dog convos later. Mine have heard Coda barking. I suspect so, as is always the case when the dogs are around. We can say to our families and friends, I'm going to be doing a live stream. If you wouldn't mind, please try not to make any noise. Try not to break any plates like we had on, was that episode 2 or 3 of the live streams back in 2020? There was some plates crashed out of a press here, and I was like this, and it turned out to be a very minor mishap. Dogs, on the other hand, don't understand such instructions. Well, they should. I mean, you can tell your dog, if you have a dog trained properly, you can say, Coda or Fido or Blackie, whatever you call your dog, be quiet, or Cunis in Irish. But a lot of dogs don't understand. I can't be Cunis for 2 hours while you have your quiz, So we'll see you all in 1 hour and 15 minutes, hopefully, for the quiz. In the meantime, thank you for tuning in. I hope you have enjoyed the first look at the 2023 Mythical Ireland calendar. See you in a while.